On this episode of Centennial Sports, things get heated as the Colts men's soccer team take on the St. Lawrence Vikings at Progress Campus. Canada's best young baseball players take over the Rogers Centre for the Tournament 12 workout day. We head to the water and take a look at the standing paddleboard series down at the Toronto Windsurfing Club, and hundreds of people gather at the 34th annual Terry Fox Run in the beaches to support cancer treatment. All this and more on Centennial Sports.
Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of Centennial Sports Network, where for the next 6 weeks, we'll keep you up to date and informed on your local community and the sports world. Because, after all, it's that time of year where sports season begins after a little summer break.
Wait a second, Ed, what about baseball?
Baseball's not a sport, Dave. It's just an elaborate game of catch.
So, wait a second, what did you do over the break?
Well, I was actually in class all summer, where I was under the tutelage of some of the industry's finest, including, but not limited to, Kathy Barnes and Jim Taddy. I did also manage to make it over to the Sportsnet studio thanks to Kathy, who taught probably the greatest class I have ever attended.
It was amazing.
But enough about me. Let's get this show started with some association football. Centennial Colts hosting the St. Lawrence Vikings of Kingston, Ontario in their season opener, as the Colts were rained out last Friday when they were supposed to play the Georgetown Huskies. Coaches Julian Carr and Steve Daugulis were new acquaintances. Thankfully, the rain stopped before the start of this one. As Centennial soccer season begins, St. Lawrence also looking for their first win of the season as they drop their season opener 1-0 to the Durham Lords. Now, just 10 minutes in, and the Vikings look to open the scoring with their first goal of the season, courtesy of none other than Gabe Jones as he heads it past Colts goalkeeper Peter Katsaras. 1-0 St. Lawrence. Looking at the replay, bit of a weird one there for Jones. Keeper calling for the ball, but Jones beats it to him with his head. Just 10 minutes later, Centennial responds as Captain Mark Tarazzi threads it to Tyler Dill, who gets it to none other than the man simply known as Jimmy, putting it in the back of the net. Things tied at 1. It's the first goal this season for the Colts rookie and Scarborough native. Now, a little bit later, things get heated as Tarazzi collides with Clark Hood. Hood doesn't like it, the keeper doesn't like it, and Tarazzi having none of it. The little scuffle had to be broken up by the ref, with Hood and Tarazzi both getting yellow cards.
Come on, man, you didn't see that at all. You didn't see that?
Well, Vikings coaching staff certainly not happy about that. Camera doesn't lie, I didn't see a headbutt, did you? Early in the second half now, Vikings retake the lead as Colton Gallen heads it off a throw-in for his first varsity career goal. 2-1 St. Lawrence. Now, just 10 minutes later, Colts goal scorer Jimmy gets sub-backed in. Remember that, Jimmy's back in the game. Now on to the 67th minute. Jamal Fingal carries it in, finds Tarazzi, but he's taken down in the box, resulting in a yellow card. Vikings not happy with the call. Ensuing penalty kick. Guess who takes it? Jimmy steps up to the spot. Second goal of the game for him. No chance for Suave. What a debut. Things all tied up at 2. And that's how the fat lady would sing it as the Colts draw the Vikings 2-2 in their first game of the season. Our very own Namish Modi was at the game and able to get a few comments from Captain Tarazzi and Coach Carr.
Good, as long as, because half of our players are starters are the new guys coming into the team. It's a building process, but it shows that we have a good group. We can work together. Even though we're down, we step up to get a tie, then still down, then we got another tie.
It's the start of every new season because our first game was actually canceled. These guys were a little bit numb, and they were nervous, and you could see that they were nervous. Case in point, they scored in the 10th minute, and they scored in the 10th minute, and it looked like the Keystone Cops were out there. So they calmed down, and that was the main thing that we tried to stress in the second half, that you had to come out, you had to be calm, and just relax. When it comes to officials, the person in the middle is God. And so you don't argue with God because God wins.
The soccer season is also underway for the ladies. The Centennial Colts played their second game of the year against the St. Lawrence Vikings. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. It was wet and windy at Colt Pitch, but Centennial fans still came out in support. 14th minute, Alexis Sutton gets the ball at the top of the box, and she curls it top corner. Outstanding finish. Centennial takes the early lead. Now, later in the half, as you will see shortly, Diane Davis plays in Megan Hutchison. She, though, can't get the ball past Monica Morgan. Outstanding save by the keeper. St. Louis continued to pile on pressure as they had corner kick after corner kick after. Get ready for this, Ed. Another corner kick, but nothing to show for it. Now, on to the second half we go. After Megan Simpson tied it up for the Vikings, looking for more, Simpson carries the ball into the box, but she is taken out by Antonia Canarantinas. The referee gives a penalty. Now, as you see, it looks like Simpson dove, but she is hurt. She had to leave the game, and she would not return with a lower body injury. On the ensuing penalty, Mallory McQueen beats Morgan. The keeper had no chance, 2-1 Vikings, and the Vikings would continue to press. Minutes later, Hutchison gets the ball, and she rings it off the post. The game is still alive for the Colts. Then, a little later, Hutchison is played in again. She gets by Morgan, but Amy Reed makes an outstanding block to clear the ball. If you look at it again, it was unorthodox, but it worked. However, in the end, it wouldn't matter. The Colts wouldn't generate any more scoring opportunities, and it would go on to lose their home opener 2-1. The Colts are still looking for their first points of the campaign, which they will look to get on Wednesday at Seneca.
I think that as a whole we worked really well together, but I think that we really needed to clear the ball better. Our clearances were good, but they kind of went off the other team. That's how we got a lot of the corners, but we hustled a lot, got back, and corners happen, but I mean, we worked really hard to prevent the cross from coming in.
So it's a brand new team, so we've got to work as a team dynamic and just using our space and communicating more. The girls are getting to know each other and getting to know different positions. We're looking forward to the season moving forward. And
well, we all know that Centennial College is known for its outstanding journalism programs as well as its ridiculously good-looking students. But it used to be known for its golf team. That's right, golf. Throughout the 70s and 90s, Centennial was a powerhouse golf team, always in contention for provincial titles and even winning 3 during that span. Here with more on Centennial College's golf revival is our very own Trevor Scoops Lowden.
I'm here at Black Diamond Golf Club here in Peterborough. I'm catching up with the Centennial Colts golf team in their first tournament of the 2014 season. We caught up with the head coach, the team, to give us a little preview of what might be coming in 2014. The Colts began their season at the Fleming College Invitational Golf Tournament. This marks the first time that all 4 team members have gotten together, and for some it's been a while since they played tournament golf.
Well, I mean, this is the first time we've kind of been together playing, so it's hard to really expect or to really know what to expect at this point. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go out and, you know, try and put something decent up. It may not be a guarantee for first time out, but I mean, you got to give it a shot, right? Got to start somewhere. I'm used to playing in the rain or even snow back home, so this is perfect right here, buddy.
Goals for the season is maybe to make the Nationals. They have a big tournament in Quebec in October, and we have the Ontario Regionals, I believe, at the end of September. So I think a good goal for the team would be to make sure that we get into the national tournament. I've been talking to Coach a lot. He said I've been really quick on my swing lately. He said I just need to slow everything down. Been losing a lot of balls off the tee this year. So I think a good goal for me would be just make sure I'm 1 off the tee every time, you know? Just be consistent, hit some fairways, and make some birdies, make some pars, see what I can do.
The 4 players didn't get the results they wanted, compiling an average score of 92. This doesn't bother team coordinator James McNabb, who knew that the team was just getting together for the first time. Centennial had a successful golf team throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but the program folded shortly after. McNabb decided to restart the program in 2012. At this point of the year, he's more interested in creating a team dynamic than putting up good scores.
I want them to have fun, and in terms of the scoring, that's second. Right now is have some fun, and I think that the group dynamics between the 4 guys, they've never really seen one another. I guess the other 3 in the program do, but it's that whole forming, norming, storming, and performing group process that right now today they're getting together, and it'll be about just sort of making partnerships and moving on. My goal is eventually to have a winning program once again here at Centennial.
Now, the results may not have been as strong as the team would have liked, but as the coach said at the beginning, it's all about going out there and having fun and having something to build off of for the next tournament. I'm Trevor Lowden, Centennial Sports TV, Black Diamond Golf Club.
The Blue Jays are out of town, but don't frown because baseball is going down at Rogers Centre, where Ontario's best baseball players will be taking part in Tournament 12. Queen's Geoff Mohtadi has more.
I'm Geoff Mohtadi for Centennial Sports TV here at the Rogers Centre. Team Ontario Green had their workout this morning, and we had an inside look with Tristan Pompey, the younger brother of Toronto Blue Jays outfielder Dalton Pompey. Let's see how he did and what he had to say.
Yeah, it's almost too real. Like it's almost like I'm living a dream. It's a dream that I've always wanted to play in the Rogers Centre, right? I mean, my brother's living the dream right now, and hopefully I'll get to live the dream someday too in the actual major leagues. It means a lot. Knowing some of the players are on Team Canada, and if I perform well, I feel like I can be on Team Canada as well someday. You know, working hard, always working hard. So I mean, I can potentially play on Team Canada within the next months because they go away in October. So. I was talking to my brother. He said Team Canada is where a lot of opportunities happen for schools, for scouts, and you're playing every day, so you get a lot better. And the coaching is great with Greg Hamilton and all his crew. I'm just hoping to do the best that I can, and we have a really good team. So I'm hoping that we're going to make the playoffs. Like hopefully the finals against the other Ontario team. That'd be pretty good battle.
Team workouts concluded today, and tournament action gets started on Wednesday and runs through Saturday. You can check out all your highlights on Centennial Sports TV. I'm Geoff Mohtadi.
Up next, through the eyes of Edward, one man's attempt to run with the Colts. You won't want to miss this. When we get back, you can all bear witness to a story of hope and determination as I try out for Centennial College's varsity men's soccer team. Ole!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jimmy's on the board!
Think you know a lot about sports? Do you like to make money? If you said yes to either of those questions, Yahoo Fantasy Sports has you covered. I'm doing it. He's doing it. So is this clown. So, what are you waiting for?
Don't know how I feel about that last pick.
Yahoo! And welcome back. Hope you're not sick of soccer because we have a little more. A feature starring my co-host, Ed Elyahky. Ed, I didn't know you played soccer.
Spoiler alert, I don't.
Centennial Sports Journalism's very own Edward Elyahky in one man's attempt to run with the Colts.
So Eddie, we're driving to your first Centennial Colts soccer tryout. How are you feeling physically at this moment?
Physically, I'm feeling like I'm at about in between 60 and 70% right now. It may sound a little low, but I only give about 60% effort at everything and anything I do. So we're in the Goldilocks zone.
So when is the last time you played competitive soccer, Ed?
Like organized competitive soccer, I think was probably maybe second or third year university. So I'm going for defense. I feel like I can use my speed on the outsides to kind of make up for some mistakes, and I just gotta, use my physical attributes rather than my skill to kind of make that first round of cuts. So be it.
When he pulled us over to the side there, he's like, "You're all cut unless I talk to you." So he just pulled me over there. He said, "Yo, we're practicing at like 6:30 on Monday. If you want to come in the morning."
6:30 in the morning?
Yeah, and then Wednesday 6:30 in the evening.
said he saw flashes of something, so it's not bad. He likes guys that are smart with the ball, good in small places, skills and control. Not really a lot of my forte.
Do we give running with the Colts Edward Elyahky mission accomplished?
First, I was running by myself.
I did notice that.
By lap 2, I was definitely running with the Colts, so that was achieved. Achievement unlocked. You know what? I went to Western, so I'm a Mustang at heart. But a horse is a horse is a horse. Am I right?
So Ed, that feature really showcased your talents on the field. Did you make the team?
You'll just have to stay tuned for next week's part 2.
The Ontario paddleboarding Sept season came to a close at Cherry Beach with Ontario's best paddleboarders competing. They race once a week on Thursday nights to compete in the only paddleboard series in the province.
4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
The men and the women in the elite and rep categories. Look at them go off the starting line. It was a doozy, folks. In the men's competitive 6K, whole shot winner Aaron Pillon battles with points leader Gander Tawa-Sturgeon for the lead position. Two nations best going toe-to-toe. What an outstanding sight. Gander would get by Pillon to grab the lead. The two were way ahead of the pack. Just look at those two fight, folks. Wonderful athleticism showcased by the two. They were way ahead of the pack, as I said. Heavy winds were putting these people behind. If you want to know, these racers spend most of their time paddling all around Ontario and are some of the best racers in the country. It's always good to have some context. Now, in the men's 3K, Ian Howard led the way, and as you will see shortly, he will jump off of his board and sprint through the cones on the beach with his paddle in hand for the win. In the women's category, a tight finish ensued in the ladies' rec between Michelle Clark and Lorna Stewart. Clark executes a flawless transition from the board to the beach to take first. Now, back to the men's category in a short second. And as you will see, Pillon would come out on top. What an outstanding race by Pillon. Really inspiring. Gander would come in second. And the two friends would share a wonderful moment together, laughing it up.
There you go.
Ivan Dimic would round up in third. But let's go back to Pillon and Gander, who look like they will be friends forever.
Now it's just getting a little
What
weird.
a lovely sight. With more about paddleboarding works, Hugh Wilson, the creator of Toronto's stand-up paddleboarding series.
Hey, my name's Hugh Wilson, and I own something called the Thursday Night Toronto Sup Series. We're standing in front of the Toronto Windsurfing Club, and they are our joint venue sponsor. What happened was a few years ago, we all got involved in this sport called stand-up paddleboarding, and well, it came from Hawaii, and it slowly came across to North America, and we got involved in it. And what it is, basically a giant surfboard and a huge paddle, and we said, let's start racing these things.
Hugh Wilson does everything from play-by-play to giving lessons in Toronto's stand-up paddleboard community. He gives an outline of the course before each race to ensure the safety of his racers. His efforts did not go unnoticed, as he will be doing the public announcements in Welland for the 2015 Pan Am Games. The paddleboard community would be nothing without him.
Right now we're standing at Cherry Beach, which is really part of the GTA. It's a downtown Toronto waterway. It's a really great spot. Lots of paddleboarders come down here, a lot of windsurfers. We can get hikers down here because it's so great when the wind blows. But tonight we've got flat water, and when we race here on Thursday nights, we run two courses. We run a 3-kilometer course, which is basically 2 laps of our 1,500 meter course. That's for the recreational racers. And for our advanced or elite racers, they run a full 6K, which is 4 times around the 1,500 meter course. We add kinds of fun challenges for them. We'll do running beach starts. We'll do something unique that we brought to the sport called the Hole Shot Award. Just to give you a bit of insight as to what the technology or the boards are all about that we use. Down in front of me here, this is a basic surf style board. This is a Blue Wave breast cancer awareness board. Behind me here, we've got a couple of race boards. First board here, 12 foot 6 inches long. That's the women's race board. That's the standard length if you're racing in the women's class. Now guys can use those too, but that's the standard women's length race board. In behind it, we've got a 14 foot race board. That's the men's class. So we've got our 3 different boards here. That's a quick blade carbon race paddle. This is your engine, so to speak. But you don't have to have the most expensive of everything. You can get by with entry-level gear, and the sky's the limit. $1,000, $3,000, and everything in between. You choose. Lots of fun. If you want to get down with the lingo, everybody says they share the stoke. And that's kind of a cliched Hawaiian term, but that's how we feel. There's a lot of fun people here, a lot of families, a lot of really good folks.
Up next, Centennial's own Trevor Scoops Lowden takes us to Leaside Gardens for a sports cards show. Stick around.
This book is called The Aesthetics of Emotion, Up the Down Staircase of the Mind-Body. If you're interested in the emotions in your life, if you're interested in how your childhood affected your life, if you're interested in your relationships with other people, and how you look at music, paintings, this is the book for you.
Pedro Salomao of the Toronto Observer says,
"This book is awesome!" The Aesthetics of Emotion, Up the Down Staircase of the Mind-Body. Buy it. It'll change your life.
Hey, Dave, you used to run cross country, right?
For 8 years straight.
You ever do the Terry Fox run?
Oh man, every year without question.
Well, you're certainly a better man than I. With more on the Terry Fox run, here again is our very own Namish Modi.
For the last 34 years, Terry Fox's Marathon Run of Hope has raised money for cancer. This year at the beaches was no different.
In 1980, Terry Fox decided to run across Canada to raise money for cancer research. He called his journey the Marathon of Hope. His goal was to raise awareness and enough money to cure cancer. Every September, people all over the world run, walk, or bike the Marathon of Hope.
I lost a couple of family members to cancer, and I am a new Canadian, and I read the Terry Fox book as well, and I thought it was an amazing cause.
This year, the Terry Fox Run Foundation is hosting 220 runs across Ontario, with around 35 taking place in the GTA.
I think it's one of the best I've seen in a long time on here. Sometimes, when if it's bad weather, a lot of people don't show up, but their heart is still, and this is one of the best ones I've seen in many a year on here. And like I said, I've been here for 30 some odd years at the beginning of it there, so this is great participation.
We take part every year. I saw Terry when he ran through Barrie many years ago on his actual Marathon of Run, or Marathon of Hope. And I've done it almost every year since. And I'm also a breast cancer survivor myself, so now my daughter is doing it with me.
That it comes across, especially when you notice not only the young or the old people, you have the young people that are going in here, and they get the message across through this, and they wonder what the run is for, and they get the idea, because everybody seems to have been touched with this, and it comes through with them when you're talking to them. They know from their parents and people like myself that this is a great cause. And
Several cancer survivors, seniors, kids, and adults did the 5 or 10K run, while some walked or cycled in a very successful event today. On the shores of Lake Ontario for Centennial Sports TV, I'm Namish Modi.
The passion for sports that many fans have usually goes beyond the game itself. People read magazines, play fantasy, collect memorabilia, and even collect hockey cards. Let's take a look at the Toronto Card Show to see what took place on this weekend at Leaside Gardens. Trevor Lowden has more.
Trevor Lowden, Centennial Sports TV here at Leaside Memorial Community Gardens, taking in the Toronto Card Show, where collectors and vendors alike share their favorite sports memorabilia and their cards. As an added bonus, Blue Jays Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar was here to greet the fans and sign some of their favorite things. Why don't we take a look inside?
Well, I'm a sports fan and collector that started the show. We started back in April 2006, and really at the time it was just being a fan and a collector. Quite often now I joke that I've sacrificed my own collection for everybody else's. Yeah. And 8 years later, I mean, it's a lot of work. There's more that goes on in the scene, behind the scenes to make this happen, and we're also in the process of expanding as well. Back in the day, it was a kid's hobby. We'd go to the convenience store, we'd buy our packs of cards. Big sports card boom in the early 90s, everybody collected. It was massive and it was so mainstream. Now it's more of a niche market. In the past decade, I'd say it's more of an older demographic. However, at the same time, what's changing now is when kids started collecting, right, the kids start collecting because their dads do. So it's becoming more of a family thing. That's, in many ways, that's how kids are getting introduced to the hobby. It's because it's become more of a family thing between father, son, or daughter.
Collecting cards, I've been doing it since 2000. There's been ebbs and flows for sure. The cards now, they've had to get more and more advanced, more progressive. What they sell, like it's no longer just a card, a single, they became numbered cards, jersey cards, autograph cards, and then multiples of that. Like I have a card with a diamond in it. Like that's what's now.
What kind of card is that?
It's National Treasures. It's the newest release, 2014, and it's called a Flawless card. And it's Eric Lindros, numbered out of 5, and it's got a diamond embedded in the card. Like that's what they're getting to now. You're waiting for blood samples and like all that sort of stuff next. Like, is it gonna happen? Probably will.
We're having a good time talking. We're gonna have pizza. Yeah, I do. I'm a collector. My Martin Brodeur autograph rookie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
When did you get that?
Actually, my uncle gave it to me at the age of 5.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping that forever. I've been keeping that in my room.
My thing is pictures, really, but I've got a little bit of everything, so I try to get as much as I can in and give people a little bit of a variety. I'd say I'm selling mostly to the older crowd, but you see a few kids here, and it's nice to see them getting into it like I did when I was a kid. So
I find that you're meeting people that have the same passion towards the sports that you're interested in, and I find you're meeting people like yourself, right? So basically, I like to come to shows like this and meet other people that are like me, but then today there's an extra incentive.
There may be a belief that this whole community has gone and hidden behind their computer screens, but don't go tell Frank Williamson that and the Toronto Card Show, as they just brought in collectors young and old to Leaside Memorial Community Gardens. You can catch their next show right here in Leaside at the Amsterdam Brewery on September 28th. I'm Trevor Lowden, Centennial Sports TV, Leaside Gardens.
This show has been fantastic, and Ed, let me tell you, I thought you were outstanding.
Oh, thanks, man. You were, Well, that's all the time we have this week. I'd like to thank Geoff and Pedro for making this set look nothing like my mother's basement. If she knew I had friends over on a school night, she'd ground me. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next week for another piping hot serving of sports.